For joining us this morning for our second Sage 100 add-on solutions showcase. We're excited to have three expert presenters to showcase their solutions for us today. You'll see short overview videos of ScanForce for warehouse management, Netstock for their web-based inventory advisor, and SimCloud customer information management. Each presentation is going to be approximately 10 minutes long, and everyone will be on mute during the entire presentation. So if you have questions, please note them in the chat window. Time permitting, these will be answered after the last presentation. And we will now get started with our first presentation by Brian Barry from ScanForce.
Fast and furious, we're going to barcode your entire operation in 10 minutes. So let's dive right in. First thing of note is I promise I will not read screens. If I did, we'd probably be on this one for the full 10 minutes. But I know a lot of you will review this on a recording basis, so you may want to pause this and just read a little bit more about us. The long and the short is we've been around for over 20 years. We actually grew out of Sage 100. It was a 100 client that said, hey, you want to scan barcodes? Something was written for them, and it's grown exponentially over multiple decades. And now we have over 10,000 users running on the platform. Sage has actually asked us to take our 100 product and expand that out over, we're now implementing or getting ready to launch our fourth offering in the Sage world. So we continue to grow in and around Sage. But 100 was our core, that's where we got started. So let's look at the basics of what we offer. First of all, what does WMS mean? Well, that's Warehouse Management System. Basically, in short, that's barcoding your inventory, okay? We have three different versions we call Core, Select, and Premier that have different levels of functionality based on your needs. If you have any interest in talking about barcoding, the first thing you would do is reach out to your MicroAccounting rep. They will get in touch with me, and we'll have a one-on-one conversation, or actually, I guess, one-on-three between the three parties, and we'll talk about your needs, your hopes and dreams, everything that you want to accomplish, the problems that you're having today, the things that you'd like to get better at. And I will help you determine which one of these three versions makes the most sense for you in your world. Okay, now down below that, label printing. What good would a barcoding system be if we didn't have barcodes to scan? A lot of people come to me and say, I'm not sure barcoding is going to work because my vendors don't barcode stuff, or everybody barcodes different, it's all different standards. But that's okay. I promise I've been in the barcoding world for over 25 years, and I can help walk you through that. We, ScanForce, have our own label printing solution that's part of our warehouse management system, so we can print these labels on demand. Over on the right-hand side, manufacturing. If any of you are into manufacturing, we support bill of materials, production management, more on that later, and don't tell Sage, but we still support legacy work order, okay? Then up at the top, mobile sales. This is a completely separate application from the warehouse management system. It's not what I'm going to focus on today, but I'll touch on it very briefly. If you have users that are either at a will call desk and need to enter quotes and orders, or go to a trade show where you want to process quotes and orders, or outside sales reps that visit customers and you want them to be able to enter quotes and orders, we can do that through a tablet or a phone, just like you're connected to Sage with all the pricing and inventory levels and all that stuff that's still built in. But now let's drill into the WMS a little bit deeper. What I want to do first is talk about the sort of the highlight features of warehouse management systems, some of the things that they can do. Now, bear in mind, like I said in the onset, we have three different versions or functional additions of our product. So some of these features are in some, not in others. So you may look at what I'm about to show you and say, well, that doesn't apply to me, so maybe ScanForce isn't a good fit. Not at all, because we do have the three versions. There's a version that fits everyone's needs and budget. So let me just talk about some of the higher end functionality, and then when we have that one-on-one conversation, we'll drill down into specifics of what you need. Okay, the first is multi-bin. Now you know that Sage gives you one location code for every item code, and that's not realistic for a lot of people in the modern warehouse. So we wrote this multi-bin solution, and in conjunction with DSD, which you know is a big programming house in the Sage world, a lot of you may be using their multi-currency or stuff like that. So it's a product that we provide that's an overlay on top of Sage inventory. This is not running in ScanForce, this is actually running inside Sage. So when you're in item inquiry, just like this screen right here, you can drill down inside a warehouse and look at all the places that we call bins where you might store inventory and all the quantity that might be there as well. Okay, we can even drill down to the pallet level. I've got 10 on one pallet, 15 on another. Okay, and this gives you that real granular view of your inventory. Okay, so now that we know that we can potentially have the same thing in more than one place, we can use a function that we call auto allocations. When you hear the term allocation, think reservation. So imagine you enter a sales order, and let's say you've got some stuff, and I know that some of you have things that expire, have expiration dates. Other of you may have, metal that never expires. But in most warehouses, a lot of people still want to run a FIFO environment, first in, first out. So you want to get the oldest stuff out first, even if it's not a type of situation where it might expire like food service. In that situation, because we have multi-bin functionality and capability, we can track the age of the products in the bins. We know when things were received and when things were put in one bin or another. So when you enter a sales order, we can direct the user and say, the place that we need to pick this from is one specific bin. We can create a reservation or an allocation for that quantity for the sales order on a particular place. Now, then how do we communicate that to the warehouse? Well, that comes through what we call directed picking. On the handheld, imagine a gun type scanner that the user has in their hand with a screen on it. We can say, if you're picking the first line item on this order, you need to go to this place. See where the guy's pointing? It's down aisle A, rack 3, shelf 2. So that's the location where the oldest stuff is for line item 1 on this order. So we're going to direct the user to all of those places in turn. Okay. Now, shifting gears a little bit, I did mention manufacturing onset. We support bill of materials. We support production management. I'm not going to belabor these in a 10-minute format, but if you are into manufacturing, just know that we have a handheld component that will tie into whatever Sage manufacturing module you're using, and we can allow you to input the data on the handheld and have that flow directly into Sage. Okay. Now, this is my favorite part of the presentation. What's hot right now? I love benchmarking in general, okay? Benchmarking is what are other Sage 100 users doing or thinking or asking about? Maybe I should be asking those exact same questions. So these are some of the things that we are seeing a lot of interest in the Sage 100 market. One of them is order assignment. You can pick tickets and have users go and pick those, or we can provide this order assignment, which is a digital thing on a dashboard where you can see all of your orders and all of your pickers. You can drag and drop, and you can put one big order against one guy and then 3 smaller orders against somebody else and balance the work orders. You can also prioritize them and say, somebody's coming to get this, we need to get it out the door first. So it just allows you to digitally assign orders through a dashboard that flow directly to the handheld, okay? Another thing is Starship integration. If you're a Starship user, this one is an absolute no-brainer. Imagine a world where users would scan items into boxes and then Starship labels instantly print out. Users never have to go and log into Starship and request their labels. We, ScanForce, ping them behind the scenes and say, here's all the data, I'm ready for my labels, please print them out for me, okay? Another one, license plating. I mentioned pallets earlier. If you have side loaders, pallet jacks, forklifts, we need to talk about license plating. You could put a bunch of stuff on one pallet. We're going to print a license plate barcode to go on the outside of the shrink wrap, and it can sit there for a day or a week or a month. Then we scan one barcode. Everything inside the shrink wrap ships out of Sage instantly. It's the classic touch it once and not have to touch it, multiple times scenario. Okay. Another one is image capture. With image capture, we allow you to do just what this person's doing. See, they've packed this, I don't know if it's a truck or a container or whatnot, but they're taking a picture to show that it's pristine. So if it's damaged on the other end, they can pull up that image and say, well, this is what it looked like when it left our dock. So I call this the CYA application for good reason. This is also available on the inbound side. So if you have goods that come in or damaged, using the scanner that they're used to, scan boxes in and out all day long, we can take a picture, it gets saved in Sage, and the name of the image is either the PO number or the sales order number with a counter, so we can take multiples of each, okay? Makes it really easy to find those as we go, okay? Last one that I'll mention is specifically about production management. I talked about manufacturing in brief earlier, but specifically with production management, ScanForce is pushing the realms of the envelope for PM further than it's ever been pushed before. We've actually released 6 enhancements on top of production management to make your life much easier. Things like make to order. If you enter a sales order and it's something you need to make, ScanForce can automatically create the work ticket in production management for you. It removes one step all the way through. We can dilute labor. If you have people working on multiple things simultaneously, we can dilute their labor and have it automatically calculate their time. So there's a lot of these. It's very in-depth. I'd love to have an individual conversation with you to talk about which of these might apply in your world. Okay. Last but not least, our support. We think we have the very best support in the Sage 100 world. You have unlimited contact to us via email or phone call to get your questions answered. And over the course of an entire year, we did a time study and we found that the average time to respond to a request was 26 minutes, which means half the time we're doing it faster than that. And by the way, that response is not an email that says, we got your message, we'll get back to you a week from Tuesday. That's an actual human on the phone with you or replying to your email, fixing whatever the issue is for you, okay? All right, so my time is about up. So I'm gonna throw up a quick little ending slide here. You'll see that email info@ScanForce that comes to me and every member of my team. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to us directly, but I would strongly encourage you to reach out to whoever your rep is at MicroAccounting, and they can reach out to me, give me a little bit of the lay of the land, a little bit of the history, and then we can set up that introductory call.
Next, we're going to hear from Vaughn Proctor from Netstock.
All right, so thanks very much for having us. As we've heard, I've only got 10 minutes, so I'm going to speed through this as much as possible, but feel free to reach out to the MicroAccounting team if you guys want more details on this. Netstock really is a demand and supply planning solution. We have introduced AI into this. I'll touch a little bit on that, but it's really taken this type of planning to the next level, and I'll show you some of the stuff that we've done with that. For those of you who don't know Netstock, we were originally called Sage Inventory Advisor. We're now Netstock Inventory Advisor, but we started way back in 2010. We signed our partnership agreement with Sage in 2012, and our biggest customer base out of the 2,300 plus customers that we have are Sage 100 customers. So we've come a long way. We have certified integration. We have ISO certification for security to ensure that we keep your data as secure as possible. And as I said, we have a long-standing relationship with Sage and Sage 100 specifically. So what could you expect as a result of using Netstock? And we've seen this based on the feedback that we've had from customers like you on Sage 100. And these are kind of the results that we're trying to drive. The top two, up to 50% increase in forecasting accuracy, and the 70% reduction in time spent on planning, forecasting, and ordering really relates to spreadsheets. If you're sitting in a spreadsheet with a moving average calculation or trying to figure out what you're going to be selling in the future, trying to figure out what you need to order and when you need to order it, the automation of those processes will save a huge amount of time. And also the increase in forecast accuracy creates an increase in accuracy in planning overall and making sure that we have optimal levels. The bottom two really talk about that inventory optimization, which is we're driving to reduce your inventory, make sure that you have just the right amount of inventory that you need, making sure that you're not tying up cash in inventory where you don't need to, and at the same time improving your service levels to your customers to make sure that we're increasing sales, we're turning that stock, and we're turning that cash as quickly as we possibly can. So those are kind of the results that we've seen from customers using Netstock Inventory Advisor, and hopefully we can do the same for you as well. So how do we fit into the product stack? If we look at inventory planning as a whole, there are three parts to that stack. At the bottom, we have the inventory control. That's really done by your Sage ERP and WMS systems like ScanForce, right? And what they're really there to tell you, there's transactional information, orders in and out, scanning, stock taking, dispatching, all of this stuff that ScanForce has been talking about. But in the end, that is there to tell you what you have. So I have 10 widgets on this shelf in this location. And it's really, really good at being able to tell you that. But what it's not good at telling you is how much should I have. So I've got 10 widgets on this shelf in this location. Should it be 20? Should it be 5? What's the optimal amount that I should have right now to make sure that I don't have too much or too little? And that's really where Netstock fits in. So at the top level, we have inventory optimization, and that's where Netstock takes over. Now, keep in mind, we automate all of these processes. So all of these things that you're doing manually, you won't have to do anymore. What we want you to do is be in the inventory management stage, right? So these are the things that we're going to automate. Demand planning, where we have a forecasting engine that's going to tournament forecast, 9 different forecasting algorithms, find the best fit forecast, take things like seasonality and trends into consideration, and increase the accuracy of your forecasting. The next thing we do is we're going to automatically classify items so that we can see which items are more important to the business and make sure that we're investing in those items. Making sure the green items, as you can see in this 9-block matrix, those are the bread and butter items of the business. The red items are the slow-moving, low-value items. We want to make sure that we're investing in those green items and that we don't have too much excess in the red items. And then also different color coding for different other items and different ways that we deal with those. But really, this is to drive investment into those green areas and increase profitability of the business. What we're going to do is we're going to set policies for you based on your business requirements, based on the investment that you can put into inventory and where to invest, to ensure that we can balance the inventory and make sure that you're getting the most out of your investment. So we're going to set target fill rates and replenishment cycles for each of those groups. And as items move from one block to the next, those policies will change for them. You don't have to keep setting those up. They just automatically change as an item moves from one block to the next. So the next thing we want to do is we want to calculate risk. So what is risk? Risk is, in this case, risk to availability. So, risk to having the items available when your customer wants it. And there's 2 parts to that risk. There's an inbound risk, which is your demand risk, which is where the customer buys more than what you expected them to, and that might lead to a stock out. And the other is a supply risk, where your supplier is either delivering late or short supplying, and that might lead to a stock out as well. So we measure that using your purchase order history and tracking our own forecast reliability to create a risk calculation for inbound and outbound risk, and we use that to adjust safety stock levels. So in other words, if we're under forecasting and we might stock out, we increase safety stock levels automatically. If we're getting a late supply or short delivered, we automatically increase your safety stock levels based on that to overcome that risk. So you do not need to change min-max levels or safety stock levels. We automate that process for you. The next thing we do is we create that safety stock level using your target fill rates, using the replenishment cycle, using the lead time and the risk calculations, and calculate the optimal safety stock for every single item in every location. And from there, the optimal safety stock levels are not just calculated for today, but 365 days into the future. We compare what you have to what you should have, and what you will have to what you should have every single day for the next year. And also when we plan to purchase, to create a plan where we fall into that gray area, which is your optimal safety stock level that we've calculated for this item. And we do that for every item in every location. So with all of that automated, what do you need to do? Well, all we want you to do in inventory management is 2 things. Exception management, where we look at things that went wrong and that are not running according to plan, and can we fix those? And the second thing is order recommendations. So have a look at order recommendations. What needs fixing? What do I need to order today to make sure that I stay within that gray area that we've planned into the future? Okay, so there we're going to go into the application, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what that looks like, and we're going to look at that inventory management. So the first thing is in the dashboards. When you log into Netstock, this is what you'll see. The top 3 KPIs are tracking your stock holding. We can see over there where we were, where we are now, and what we're targeting. 5.3, we're at 8.7. There has been a reduction in inventory from the 10.85 months ago, so that's really working well, but we're not quite at the 5.3 that we need. Highlighting excess, that's also reduced, but there's still quite a bit of excess over there. Can we do, there's a top 5 over there. I can go into a whole list if I want to, but the top 5 with the highest impact or the highest excess, each of these have top 5 for them as well. And then future excess, surplus orders that are going to create excess in the future. We've got a little crystal ball. We're looking at it and saying, can we do something about these orders so that they don't increase the excess in the future once they land? At the bottom, we're looking at your service levels. I don't know whether you have a measure of service levels, but we will measure your service levels to say, when they started here 5 months ago, they were just under 80%. They're just under 87% now. So there's been an increase over there, which is great, but we're not quite at the target of 96% that they've set for this business. The reasons why we're not there is because we're stocked out. This has also decreased quite a bit, but we still have some stock outs there, 371 items. It's costing us nearly 700,000. And we crystal balling again for those items in the future where we see you've got stock now and you've got orders, but there's a window period where you might stock out in the future based on the demand forecast, and can we do something about expediting those to make sure that we get closer to our targets. So everything that we do drives towards these targets that you've set for the business. We're always working towards decreasing your inventory holding and increasing your levels. So that's the exception management, the what needs fixing. And then the second thing is what needs to be ordered. So I don't know, you probably won't have this in your in your systems, but we will on a daily basis have recommended orders per supplier with any items that have gone through their reorder points. So I've got my suppliers listed over here. I'm picking this supplier over here, which happens to have 12 items that have gone through their reorder point. If I say create order, it'll bring those items up one by one. Those 12 items with all the information required on those items. We can see the classifications, we can see the units of measure, MOQs, all that type of stuff we're getting from the ERP. We can see the sales history and the forecast different for every single one of these items, and the recommendations on what we should purchase now to make sure we don't run into trouble in the future. From there, we'd say download. That would then create an order format that we can download to the server, and you can upload that as an order recommendation into Sage 100 to kind of close the loop. And we can do that with work orders for manufacturing, or transfer orders in a distribution, as well as purchase orders on supplier. All right, so those are the two things that we want you to do. I just wanted to show you that in the application, but before I move on, I just wanted to show you some of the AI capabilities in the Opportunity Engine. So the Opportunity Engine, there's a lot of information here in top 5 to work through, but what it does is it finds the top opportunities in your data where you can have the greatest impact on the business. And if I click on them, it'll just bring them up one by one over here. And not only will it tell you this product over here in ABC Warehouse has 19 units surplus on this order, and it's going to cost you this extra if it lands, but it also gives you advice on what you should do to try and mitigate that risk, whether it be surplus orders, stock outs, excess. It'll find those things. It can even tell you that perhaps you have more inventory in another location and you can redistribute it. It'll give you advice on that. And if you drill into the item, there's more AI capabilities to give you this synopsis on what the item, why the item is in the status that it is, and troubleshooting on trying to see if you don't agree with that, where the information is where we got the information, and why we're saying that the item is in this status. And a lot of our customers are using this and finding great success in optimizing their inventory by working with these opportunities on a daily basis.
Presentation today will be from Carrie Mead from SimCloud.
I'm here with SimCloud. We appreciate the opportunity to be with you here today. So I'm going to walk through 3 things in the time that we have together. I'm going to walk through our why we exist really quickly. Then I'm going to talk about how we go about implementing that why, and then specifically get into what that means for you. So at a very high level, our why. So we have been in business for 20 plus years, and over the course of that, we have been working with product-centric companies specifically to help them drive customer loyalty. And the way that we help drive customer loyalty is by providing your employees and your customers with online self-service solutions. So there was actually a really interesting study that was done called the Frictionless Experience. They went and they looked at what is the key way to drive customer loyalty, the most powerful tactic, and it was all about giving your customers those self-service tools. So we know in our own personal lives, Amazon is sort of the king of the jungle and giving us the ability to do everything we need to do, including now walking down to the store to do returns in that experience. And the result of that is we are incredibly loyal to that vendor. So what we want to do is work with customers like you to help increase customer loyalty. So how do we do it? There's 3 pillars to how we approach that. Number 1, we are a B2B first. We're ERP integrated, and we are an e-commerce platform. So let me talk a little bit about that. What does it mean to be B2B first? So we provide e-commerce tools that you can use for direct to retail, but where we really shine is when we get into these B2B first situations. So we've really found over the last 20 years, there's 6 key indicators that speak to whether or not you might be a B2B first company. And if the answers to any of these indicators is yes that you see on the screen, to 1, you might be. B2B. But if it's one or more, you absolutely are in a B2B first space. So whether you have customer specific pricing and invoicing, and if you're here today to learn about some of the things we're talking about, you likely are B2B first, right? So why is that important? Because our platform has been built with the industry's most broad native feature set for supporting the situations you see in your particular business, right? So that's part of our platform, B2B first. The second key component of that is that we are ERP integrated. So we're here today, obviously, because for 20 plus years, we've been working with Sage customers. So we're a Sage Tech Partner Plus, we're on the Sage Marketplace. We have the industry's only standard out-of-the-box bi-directional sync that works directly with Sage. And why is that important? Well, you, through working with vendors like Netstock and the things you've seen today, and by using Sage 100, you've put a lot of time, energy, and effort into building out your ERP system, Sage 100. And so our platform is built on the premise that that should be the system of record. And our job is to take that and turn it into online tools without having to re-enter, re-key data, or go create all kinds of custom interfaces to get it to work. So that's core to what we do. So Sage is the largest customer count that we work with on the ERP side. We do work with a variety of other solutions, but if you're here today because you're with Sage, you're in the right place. So we've been working with Sage for a long time. And then the last component is we're an e-commerce platform. And I'm going to break this down because that might mean a variety of things to a variety of different people, but let me walk through it. So with any e-commerce platform, there's typically three key components to make it work. The first is your ERP, in this case, using Sage 100. The second is there is a tool that is syncing what's going on in your ERP system with what's going on the e-commerce platform. We provide that tool. It's part of our platform. And then the third part is the actual platform. So we really have three broad areas that compose our platform. I'm going to give you the high level picture, and then I'm going to talk about the easiest ways you can get started with Sage 100, and then how far you can ultimately go with it. So at the highest level, there's what you might think of as your traditional e-commerce tools. So do you have portals that your customers log into to place orders? Do you have specific web stores? Maybe they're brand aware, so you might market to multiple brands from the same company. Do you have private sites where your largest customers can log in? Do you use punch-out catalogs? Are you working with other systems? We provide all of that through either our standard platform or optional modules, and we consider that kind of the traditional e-commerce approach. The other thing we do is we give your employees, we call them workers, we give your employees powerful tools so that they can also self-service in supporting your customers. So we have very CRM light rep style tools that we can provide them. There's product information management tools so that on top of what you have for your inventory and everything that's being reflected in there with the pricing and the SKUs, you can add all of the rich features in other metadata on top of it, pictures and materials, diagrams, and all of that information. We also have a content management component. So you might have your own existing marketing website today, or you may not. Either way, you can create and manage pages specifically for that purchasing experience. And then also the ability to manage through configurations, not a lot of customizations, through configurations, the experience that each of your customers has when they use the platform. That's the second component. And then the third component is we do all of this through our own API Cloud Data Hub. So we actually eat our own dog food, and we do billions of transactions every month passing through our ERP sync tool to support customers like you. So that's a lot, but that's what we do at the highest level. So the next thing I want to get into is, well, so what does this mean to me if I'm Sage 100 and I'm kind of just getting started? And there's two things we talk about. Number one, if you go to the Sage Marketplace, we are listed as the Sage 100 customer portal. So at the easiest deployment, and I'll show you how that fits into the broader picture, we can allow your customers to quickly and easily self-service in ways like tracking the status of their orders, tracking shipment information. They can track their payments and credits across all of their accounts. And again, all of this is reflecting the data related to their specific account in Sage 100. They can make online payments, it's ACH or credit card. And again, providing some of those initial work tools for your customers. And what's powerful about doing this way is when you get started, particularly with the Sage 100 customer portal, which is a segment of what we do in that broader platform, you are almost ready to go out of the box. It's a very small, lightweight, fixed price implementation with a low monthly cost where all of the data, again, you put it into Sage 100, is immediately syncing over and is shown to your customers in this customer portal. So again, at a high level, what you're looking at, we go back to the broader diagram. So in your instance, you've got Sage as your ERP, you're going through our sync tool. And if you're just getting started, maybe you just want to provide those customer portal tools to your customers, you're using just a small subset of our platform. Again, the advantages, we have a ton of experience in doing it. It's a fixed price deployment. There's a low monthly fee and you can get started. And you are also starting with a system that you can continue to build into well into the future. So what all is included in Sage Customer Portal? Well, there's, again, self-service tools for your customers. They're going to log in. These are a few screenshots of where they're going to see their orders, their shipments. They can dig into a sales order. We're pulling over all the order detail, the line order detail. All of that information is available. Again, helping your customers come and do business with you when they want, self-service tools to drive that overall customer loyalty, and tools, as we mentioned, for your employees. So your employees will be able to log in to a version of the website and also see what's going on with their accounts. And again, all of the access to this is configurable and controllable by you as a customer. So you might allow certain reps to see certain customers. They can actually log in and impersonate a customer and assist them with an order, push them through the process. All of this is part of our broader solution of what we offer folks. So it's a lot, but at a high level, that's kind of where we can help folks get started. We've had the Sage 100 customer portal has been on the price list for 2 years now. Again, we've been working with customers for about 20 years now. And what we would really encourage you to do, if you are interested in making it easier for your customers to do business with you, is reach out with MicroAccounting. Let them know you're interested. We can provide you with additional materials, whether you're just getting started and want that customer portal, or you're ready to actually start engaging in online commerce. And we can set up a joint time, and we would love the opportunity and the privilege to be able to walk through a personal demonstration with you. So again, encourage each of you to continue and start really building that customer loyalty today. Reach out to MicroAccounting, and we'll do what we can on our side here at SimCloud to help you achieve those goals.
Any questions or would like to learn more about any of these solutions, feel free to reach out to me or any of our account management team, and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you.